Yo, today we have some lectures to read, Zulu Shaman, and this lecture here, African Unconscious, by Edward Bruce Bynum, PhD. So, listen up. First, but we have a little smoke, and then a little drink, and then we read. Cheers to that, yeah. So, who do you trust? Which doctor you trust? Which doctor would you go to? Which doctor would you trust? That's a good one. You feel me? Shaman, would you trust? What? Feeling a bit of dizzy because I was a teeth doctor today. I have to get in new plumps, so to say, or some good fillings, but they didn't make me fully pass out, so they couldn't do it. And in 2022, according to the Gregorian calendar, also not my calendar, but in my calendar, I have to visit that doctor, and then they have to make me fully pass out with a coiler. It was like dong dong. I pass out, and they can do all the things, everything. Also have to get in the transplantate. Here was implanted where I have no beard. I had a wisdom teeth transplanted, but this one was broken. And now they have to transplant me a new teeth and transplantate. In between worlds. In these little different worlds, you find a lot of knowledge. With me, maybe. Yeah, you should stay here for the lectures. You will like them. You will really like them. And get money and get rest. Get money, get rest. Which doctor would you trust? Shaman, would you trust? Which doctor would you go to when you have problems? When you know you can drink your own urine. And then you also do crazy things. But hey, your health is your greatest thing. Just 4 hours. 4 hours, represent sending messages to the ether, from the ether. I do the elephant posture today because it gives me more grounding. 1, 2. Up. Oh. feel a bit dizzy. Oh, good. See? I can't shut my mouth. Oh. My lips. Yeah, that's going to be a great lecture in 5 minutes or so. Relaxing. You know, you say words and you feel like that. Some gold. Looks dirty, huh? I can reload and explode. Some animals here. Big Papa, come to you. I hear somebody coming. Oh. Up this side. And the elephant one more time. So, elephant. Go. Go. Open your eyes. Everything in order. Round, forehead, chest. So let's go for the lectures. So today we have absolute. Cheers to that. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Alright. A bit down. These great lectures here. And you can maybe first from the Zulu Shaman. We have something about the Zulu warriors on page 11. It was this vision that forced my uncle Anthony, a confessing Catholic, a true Christian, to seek the advice of an old witch doctor who was the night watchman of the factory in which Anthony worked. A factory which manufactured syrups for the great mines in Johannesburg and other cities in South Africa. The old witch doctor told my uncle that the man whom I saw again and again in my vision could have been none other than the famous Zulu Emperor Shaka. And that was my sickness, what was really not a sickness at all, but rather I was undergoing a great illness which all Sangomas to be had first to undergo. The old witch doctor told Anthony that if he wanted me to survive, he had to stop stuffing me with Western medicine. He would rather take me away to someone in Zululand who would duly initiate me. Anthony thought of one person, namely the father of my real mother, my maternal grandfather, Zico Shizi, see editor's introduction, who lives in Zululand, many miles away from the city of Durban. One day Anthony contacted my mother's relatives by letter, and their response was amazing. They came to Durban, took me away to Zululand, and there a completely new life began for me. I met my mother, who had been abandoned by my father while I was yet a baby. And many were the stories that we exchanged. My grandfather told me that I had to accept treatment by him without question. You must obey me without question if you wish to live, said the old man. I have seen your type of illness many times before, and I will heal you of it. My treatment began. I was given baths of steam. My body was rubbed by a powerful Zulu hand until it felt almost raw. I was given purgatives and emetics, and I had to drink bitter-tasting traditional tonics and stimulants, all prepared by the hands of my maternal grandfather. Deep in my Christian heart, I had no faith in all of this. I said to myself, how could these people succeed where Western medical doctors have failed? But within about 6 months, I began to see strange results, and the first one was that I was able to take slow, painful steps with my feet for the first time in almost 2 years. And the more I underwent treatment, the stronger my feet became, until I could walk fairly normally. When he was satisfied that my paralysis was gone, my father ordered that I was to dance. A drum to be beaten every day, and I was to be taught how to dance. It was my mother who assisted me, together with a relative of hers, Mina. Mina was fully fledged Sangoma, and it was she who led me into the whirlpool of dancing, such only sangomas know. She sang songs which were strange to me and beat the drum. Funny enough, a colleague of mine is also called Mina. Zulu Shaman, page 12 now. Dreams, Prophecies, and Mysteries. It's called Zulu Shaman, Dreams, Prophecies, and Mysteries by Vushamatsulu Credo Mutwa. Edited by Seven Lars, forward by Louisa Tish. At first my weakened legs, which had not walked for so long, could not stand the pace of the rhythm, and I used to collapse exhausted, but the regime did not let up. I had to dance and dance, and gradually I became stronger, more agile. I was swallowed up by the very rhythm of the dance. We danced at least twice a day, early in the morning and my bath. After my bath in the cold waters of a nearby stream, my daily emetic, and my daily steaming with herbs and water. Gradually my condition improved. The constant headache was gone. Mina's snuff-like powders, consisting of finely ground herbs of different kinds, saw to that. My grandfather's steam baths made my body feel like that of a bird, light and full of energy. His tonics and stimulants worked their wonders too. I began to ask myself, do I know the Africa that is my mother? I began to ask myself one more time, do I know the Africa that is my mother? Do I really know my people? The answer was no. You do not know your people. You do not know their greatness. Look now where Christian religion has failed and where European type medicine has failed. You have been made well by herbal medicine, in which you had not believed. Yeah, that's a great piece, yeah. And now we read from the ruler. Who is ruling your life? Now we read from Our African Unconscious, The Black Origins of Mysticism and Psychology by Edward Bruce Bynum, PhD, ABPP. Forward by Linda James Myers, PhD. There you have this nice guy. A bit of music in the background. Okay. Now we're probably going to read about melanocytes maybe. Yoga, discipline, and the living darkness and the light. That's a good, yeah. Perhaps it is only an accident of birth or history, but it is curious that the ancient phenomena, methodology, and philosophy of the transmutation and transformation of human consciousness began in the upper Nile Valley among dark-skinned people. Later, this discipline, including variations and improvements, manifested in another dark-skinned people in India, the Dravidians. Maybe this where yoga originated from. Only later did it spread to northern India into the areas of Kashmir, Sirburn, 1988. There it reached another height. It would spread into Tibet, where aspects of it would undergo still another transformation, another refinement specific to its local. This and all like likelihood is due to the unfoldment of certain aspects of evolution that are the common birthright of all humanity. But it seems that the light and the intelligence of civilization as we know it for sure first oriented itself in humanity among its dark-skinned peoples, and the later spread out to enrich the larger extent family of humankind. So that's why, you come from black, you go to white, and you go to all different color spectrums. What we are referring to is a phenomenon that parallels with what begins in human embryogenesis in the neuromelanin nerve current alluded to in earlier chapters. During the embryogenesis of human beings, this direct current in the neurocrest is guided by a series of melanocytes. These melanocytes orient themselves toward light. Like Bar 1983. These melanocytes then, in all likelihood, exercise the lines of force that we have mentioned in regard to the development of the embryo. Goldschneider 1906 and Lashley 1942. This neuromelanin nerve tract may actually be informed by certain principles that have an affinity to the process of bioluminescence, and even perhaps the possibility of biological superconductivity. According to Glauber's rule, it's a necessity that mammals such as human life that evolved in a hot, humid climate must be of dark skin in order to avoid the harmful effects of the sun. Harmful, when it's too much, it's harmful, but sun gazing by itself, it can be very healing. This combination of the necessity of dark skin on the outside and a series of dark neuromelanin nerves currents and a series of dark neuromelanin nerve currents and melanocytes on the inside from earlier days of embryogenesis suggests the capacity of human organism from the very dawn of its physical existence to transmute energy from wider biosolar environment in the process of its radiant central nervous system unfoldment. This process of absorbing energy is a quantum potential in which we are interconnected through wider networks in the cosmos. One of the defining properties of melanin is the capacity to bring in or absorb light. It also transduces this energy from one form to another easily and orients itself towards light. Throughout this study, we have made an intimate connection between consciousness, light, and bioconductivity. It may very well be simply as a matter of history and evolution that just as mankind began as a dark species and all its family members retain this in its deepest structure, despite interesting and varied surface changes. This unifying aspect of humanity may be operative in the process of man's destiny in terms of spiritual and psychophysical illumination. We are all luminous and interconnected on so many levels. This is not a racist notion, for it does not imply the superiority of one group to the other. over the other. These surface structures are interesting but transient. Deep structure is that unifies. This is why melanin unifies. There has been no significant difference found in the amount, degree, or intensity of neuromelanin in the somatic organs or nervous systems of different groups of the human family. Surface changes in melanin are obvious, but deep structure process remain the same. However, it may be that this neuromelanin nerve tract that informs the process of embryogenesis and also parallels certain aspects mentioned in the terms of Kundalini process and the movement of the life current through the brain core have interacted such that African people and the other dark-skinned, genetically related peoples of India may simply have been environmentally and historically first to evolve in this. So that's why we say, the origins of mankind and of yoga come from dark-skinned people from Africa and also from India. It then has spread like a great gift to the rest of humanity. Humanity shares on almost every level the same genetic code as the indigenous parent family of the African genesis. Egyptian society and its Kemetic origins was originally a primarily indigenous black African society and civilization for thousands of years. But after years and influxes of people from various regions, including the Middle East and also Europe, by way of North Africa and Libya, the context, culture, and surface appearance of Egypt underwent transformations. So it was first, like mentioned here, the Kemetic origins were first black Africans, and then there were different influxes of people from different countries. And underwent transformations. In the Greek Ptolemaic area, there was a conscious governmental practice of trying to assimilate the different races for political reasons. Diop 1974 and Williams 1987. The peoples of Egypt are representative of most of the branches of humanity today, with the exception of the Far Eastern branch. However, the Coptic and the Kemetic roots of Egypt and its neighbors, the Sudan and Ethiopia, are still evident to any observer today. It was the gradual influx of different peoples from the interior and west central regions of Africa, beginning around 17,000 to 10,000 BCE, bringing about new ideas that led to the diverse set of disciples, beliefs, and subcultures that made up ancient Egypt. This book has focused primarily on the early dimensions and contributions of Egypt and how the Kemetic Egyptian civilization was primal in the diaspora of cultures to the southeast into India, then northern India and Asia, and also west and north into West Africa and the Middle East and Europe. So that's why we say, Kemetic origins are black people. It has something to do with melanin, your neuromelanin, and the later humankind family that came into place. Let's put it. So, we're about to leave this video here. I hope this lecture was somehow inspiring. I was just putting a note here so I know what we have read. And I was also marking some other things here. Throughout Egyptian history, the coiled serpent arising from the top of the pharaoh's head. This ancient symbol, however, reflects the more hidden or esoteric meaning. The esoteric meaning of this great symbol, it refers to the Kemetic Egyptians' knowledge of the radiant serpent of the spinal line, often called Kundalini. So Kemetic yoga is showing you some postures. So I love you. Stay awesome. Listen to good music. And I'm going to clean up here a bit. I love you. Bye-bye.
I seen the light excite all the freaks.